Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. I hope you had a good weekend. Today I'm going to cover Donald Trump's latest attempt to violate the First Amendment of the Constitution. As you probably already know, Jimmy Kimmel's show was canceled for the following joke. Let's watch.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half-staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. Okay. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. Demolition, construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish, okay? And it didn't just...
That was the joke. 2 comments on it. 1, the joke wasn't even about Charlie Kirk. It was about the shooter and Donald Trump's reaction to Charlie Kirk's murder. Number 2, this joke was in no way inciting violence. This was legal speech. After this show aired, the right demanded its cancellation, and even FCC Chairman Brendan Carr got in on it. These were his comments on the Benny Johnson podcast.
The conduct that has taken place by Jimmy Kimmel, it appears to be some of the sickest conduct possible. As you've indicated, there are avenues here for the FCC, so there are some ways in which I need to be a little bit careful, because we could be called ultimately to be a judge on some of these claims that come up. But I don't think this is an isolated incident. I mean, you go back to Representative Swalwell, and he had a tweet out last week where he was saying that, emphasizing that Charlie Kirk's killer was a straight white male from a Republican family that voted for Donald Trump. In some quarters, there's a very concerted effort to try to lie to the American people about the nature, as you indicate, of one of the most significant newsworthy public interest acts that we've seen in a long time. And what appears to be an action by Jimmy Kimmel to play into that narrative that this was somehow a MAGA or Republican motivated person. If that's what happened here with his conduct, that is really, really sick. And I've been very clear from the moment that I have become chairman of the FCC. I want to reinvigorate the public interest in. What people don't understand is that the broadcasters, and you've gotten this right, are entirely different than people that use other forms of communication. They have a license granted by us at the FCC, and that comes with it an obligation to operate in the public interest. And we can get into some ways that we've been trying to reinvigorate the public interest and some changes that we've seen. But frankly, when you see stuff like this, I mean, look, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. These companies can find ways to change conduct, to take action, frankly, on Kimmel, or there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead.
We can do this the easy way or the hard way. That sounds like a threat from a mob boss. Let's go through Brendan Carr's logic. He doesn't like the comparison of the shooter to MAGA Republicans, and he's renaming that as something that's against the quote-unquote public interest. Therefore, the FCC should punish broadcasters who air those types of comments, even though those comments are in no way inciting violence. In fact, this was a late-night talk show host whose comments are not meant to be taken seriously. Let's be clear. This is the FCC chairman, part of the federal government, threatening broadcasters with consequences if they publish a message that he or the Trump administration doesn't like. The First Amendment guarantees the freedom of speech and press, and Brendan Carr is violating the Constitution at this point. Another person violating the Constitution is, of course, Donald Trump. In an Air Force One press gaggle, this is what Trump said about the broadcaster's licenses.
What would you like to see, Mr. President? Are you going to ask Brendan Carr to weigh in on other late night hosts that you have said should be off the air?
Late night host is on network television. There is a licensing. I'll give you an example. I read someplace that the networks were 97% against me. I got 97% negative, and yet I won it easily. I won all 7 swing states, popular, I won everything. And if they're 97% against, they give me only bad publicity or press. I mean, they're getting a license. I would think maybe their license should be taken away. It will be up to Brendan Carr. I think Brendan Carr is outstanding. He's a patriot. He loves our country, and he's a tough guy. So we'll have to see. When you think about this, 97% of the stories are opposed to me, and yet I win easily the election. It's pretty amazing when you think of it. That shows they have no credibility. Go ahead.
Translation: I don't like the coverage that the media is portraying of me. Therefore, we should take away the broadcaster's licenses. Once again, this is the President of the United States threatening media broadcasters because he doesn't like messages that they are airing. This is unconstitutional. Imagine if Barack Obama or Joe Biden had done this or said the exact same comments. This would be 24/7 on Fox and Newsmax, and they would be saying that Barack Obama or Joe Biden are anti-American who should be stripped of their power as president. Furthermore, Trump posted the following unhinged rant on Truth Social, where he directs Pam Bondi to go after his perceived political enemies. He says, "Pam, I have reviewed over 30 statements and posts saying that essentially, same old story as last time. All talk, no action. Nothing is being done. What about Comey, Adam, Shifty Shift, Letitia? They are all guilty as hell, but nothing is going to be done." Then we almost put in a Democrat-supported U.S. attorney in Virginia with a really bad Republican past, a woke rhino who was never going to do his job. That's why 2 of the worst Dem senators pushed him so hard. He even lied to the media and said he quit and that we had no case. No, I fired him. And there is a great case, and many lawyers and legal pundits say so. Lindsay Halligan is a really good lawyer and likes you a lot. We can't delay any longer. It's killing our reputation and credibility. They impeached me twice and indicted me 5 times over nothing. Justice must be served now. President Donald J. Trump. A few comments on this post. 1. Why is a message to the Attorney General being given over Truth Social? That makes no sense. Number 2, this is the President of the United States openly using his power to influence the DOJ to go after his political enemies. Imagine if Joe Biden had posted this same type of message. In fact, the right has accused Joe Biden of doing this exact same thing without evidence. But here we are in 2025 with Donald Trump openly on Truth Social using his power to influence what the DOJ does. This is weaponization of government. I want to say this because I've said it over and over again, but it bears repeating. The MAGA right-wing Republicans in modern day are the kings of projection. We have to assume that every accusation is actually an admission. Whenever they have accused somebody of something, in this case Joe Biden, weaponizing the federal government, that means that they are going to weaponize the federal government. Last thing I want to talk about today is the claim that Democrats are celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. Let's look at what J.D. Vance said at the Charlie Kirk Memorial this weekend.
Taken from us by those who despise the virtues that actually made our civilization great to begin with: dialogue, truth-seeking, family, and faith. In the wake of his death, we have seen some of the very worst parts of humanity. We have watched people slander him. We have watched people justify his murder and celebrate his death.
This is just one of the comments that I've heard from prominent politicians claiming that most of the Democratic Party is celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. I'm here to say that that is a very small minority who are doing so. All serious Democrats, to include AOC and Barack Obama, have done nothing but condemn this murder. The Democrats have said that political violence is not allowed in this country and should not be tolerated, and they have been consistent on that message. Nobody, including myself and other influential podcasters, are celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. So I want to remind everyone, I have never celebrated Charlie Kirk's death. Neither have any serious politicians from the Democratic side of the aisle or influencers. We are all condemning Charlie Kirk's death. And what J.D. Vance and other Republicans are doing is they're creating an enemy where there isn't one. They want to turn this into the next big lie. The first big lie was in 2020 when Donald Trump claimed that he won the election, and that lie ultimately led to January 6th. This is the next big lie where J.D. Vance and other Republicans are claiming that Democrats are celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, and therefore the MAGA Republicans must go to war against the Democrats. And this is going to lead to either violence or rights being stripped from people, as we are already starting to see with major news broadcasters. With that being said, that's our episode for today, and I will see everyone tomorrow.